Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mind Your Mission. I hope that you all are enjoying the month of March so far. I know that where Liz and I are at, we've gotten a few nice days, and in my opinion, I don't think the temperature ever needs to get above 70, so I'm perfectly fine with what the weather's been recently. But hope you guys are enjoying the start to spring and with daylight savings and everything, getting some more light in the evenings. But today on the podcast, we are wrapping up our relationship series with a fun episode that we kind of wish someone had made for us when we were engaged or just beginning our homemaking journeys. We are going to be talking about wedding registries, but not the typical like scan everything at Target approach. Now that we are years into marriage, motherhood, homemaking, and really just trying to live a cleaner, healthier, and intentional life, we have realized that we didn't need more stuff. We needed the right stuff. So today we are sharing what we wish that we would have registered for, items that support a non-toxic home, last for decades, simplify daily life, and help us to steward our homes well. And we're also going to talk about why keeping a registry simple actually blesses your guests more, how to choose quality over quantity while still offering different price points, and how all of this connects to faith, stewardship, and building a peaceful home. If you're engaged, making a registry, or even just slowly upgrading your home, this episode is for you.
Yeah, I feel like registries are more so made for the wedding season and not married life. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things I had on mine that I don't use, or they're probably stored somewhere and I forgot about them. And I kind of probably put some things on there that were just like trendy, but now that we're like a few years out, it's like I wish I put some higher quality things that like would last longer. Then I'm sure some stuff is broken and all that. And when you buy like cheap items, you have to keep replacing them repeatedly. So it's almost better to just invest in a quality item that'll last you for longer, because overall you're not spending as much money as if you just bought the cheap thing over and over again. And having too much clutter also increases stress and your decision fatigue. Like, there are some appliances that I really love, but also sometimes I'm like, I have way too many small kitchen appliances and a small house, so they're just like everywhere. And I also have of the belief that a registry should help you start your home well and not just like fill all your cabinets, like all the clutter that is promoted on social media. Like, there's always a new product to have. There are a few that I really do like, which we'll get into, but I definitely think I have a little bit of too much stuff sometimes in my kitchen.
Yeah, I feel like the simple philosophy that we both have now that we're in a few years is that we should buy less, buy better, use it daily, and keep it for decades. So just like finding items that fit those four categories has been what I've tried to do moving forward and what I recommend to my friends that are now getting married. Like, my sister got married last year and I pretty much made her entire registry like what I wish I would have bought. And she appreciated that. Now I look at her kitchen, I'm like, man, like this is nice. So
hmm
let's get into it. Let's start with just talking about non-toxic kitchen essentials. This is kind of the most important category. So first, starting about like cookware that is going to last you, honestly, last you even for generations if you take care of it. The first thing for me, I know you use stainless steel mostly, so I'll let you talk about that, but I use cast iron pans to cook everything these days. I have one big one and then one small, like little one. I wish I just had two big cast iron pans because that's what I use. Pancakes, eggs, I've finally gotten those things down. I used to be really intimidated cooking like things that do stick in nonstick pans, but literally I cook everything in there, meat, cakes, eggs, all the things. And this is really good because there's no chemical coatings on these pans. So if you don't know, if you are not in the crunchy space, nonstick pans that you typically will get have what they call forever chemicals on them. And so as you heat that pan up, it's leaching those chemicals, those microplastics into your food, and those chemicals are never leaving your body. And so they are really not good for you. If you can replace one thing in your kitchen, this is what I really recommend replacing because you use it all the time and you're heating it up. So again, those two things combined are leaching those plastics into your body. So they also cast iron pans will add natural iron to your food, which is great. A lot of women are like iron deficient. They're also virtually indestructible. So like I can't mess it up. Even if I like burn something on it or whatever, like you can recover. And then again, they're heirloom quality. Like I could probably pass these pans on to my kids. We'll see if they want them, but hopefully they'll last that long and I won't have to ever buy another one. So it's money saving in that way too.
Yeah, I use stainless steel pans more so. And I know there's a way you're supposed to use them. I probably don't use them correctly, but I've never really had an issue with things like sticking to it. I just use like avocado oil or olive oil and make sure I'm like coating the bottom when I cook, but I've never had any issues, and the pans I have aren't expensive or anything. They're just from Walmart. You can probably get higher quality stainless steel pans, but those are the ones that I have, and I've enjoyed using them. I don't really see that much of a difference between that and the nonstick if I just coat it well.
Yeah, and I'll say 2 things. 1, we're not necessarily gonna put together a list of links for these items because so many of these things, like, as long as it's stainless steel, as long as it's cast iron, like, there's so many brands out there that have good quality items, and, like, as long as you can't really mess up cast iron or stainless steel, so it makes it simple, like, we don't necessarily need to put together a list of links. What we will do is put together a PDF for you in the description below that has these items categorized, so you can have, like, a checklist if you're making a registry, but again, I don't think we need to even put together links because there's so many good options of these things that we're gonna talk about, and then second thing that I had in mind, so I know that a lot of people these days have, like, either Caraway or the Our Place Always Pan on their registry, like, those are good non-toxic options. What I've experienced, I have the Always Pan and my sister has the Caraway pans, and what I've experienced with them, and I know that, like, this information is very common knowledge, but they are nonstick for a while, but then after a while, because they don't have the forever chemicals, like, that nonstick coating that's non-toxic is gonna fade and it's gonna get less nonstick over time, and so if you can just learn how properly nonstick either stainless steel or cast iron, like, you're gonna be good for the long haul because the Caraway and Always Place pans, like, they're expensive and you're gonna have to replace them more frequent, so anyway, just food for thought there. The second thing that I have on this list is a big Dutch oven. I use a Dutch oven is just a cast iron or like enameled cast iron pot, and I use this for cooking all my pasta, for big soups, like just having a big pot that's non-toxic is great. So I yeah, use this for bread, soups, stews because it can go in the oven too. It kind of replaces having multiple cheap pots, and it's just really good at heat retention, so it'll keep your soups warm. If you have them on the stove for a long time, like, you can turn the stove off and it'll keep it warm, so I love a good Dutch oven.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think are they made of ceramic? Is that I think mine's made of ceramic. I don't know exactly the
Yeah,
materials they made of.
I looked up what the word enameled means, and it's basically, like, cast iron that's coated with a layer of melted glass, so it looks ceramic,
Oh,
but it's just, like, melted colored so that's why they can be colored and still be non-toxic, like, it's just melted glass.
okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah, 'cause
learned
I
that.
didn't know the material, but I do use my Dutch oven a lot. So
Yeah, and then the next thing, like, I feel like I use my pan, my pot, and then I need, like, a good like a, what do they call it? A saucepan. I think that's what the technical term is, but, like, a little pot that you can use. I use mine for, like, cooking hot chocolate or mac and cheese for Weston or, like, little things like that. So you also need, like, a good, like, stainless steel pot. Okay, let's get into some healthy prep tools. I know both of us had on our registry the same because I got them for you,
mhm.
the silicone cooking utensils,
Yeah,
like
I still use
spatulas.
them.
Yeah, and I have mine too, I use them all the time. The thing is, like, on the end of them, like, some of them have, like, little chunks out of them,
Yeah,
like, where
same.
they're just worn out over time, or, like, I've accidentally cut them with a knife as I'm, like, using it or something like that, so I know that silicone is not necessarily the worst, it's not as bad as plastic, but still, I literally have gotten pieces of silicone in my food, and I'm gonna need to replace them pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, for prep tools, I'd recommend either wood, and the thing about wood is you have to find wood that's not coated in a, like, chemical coating, and that means it's gonna be harder to take care of your wood utensils, so I like using wood, but I would recommend for longevity purposes to just get a really good stainless steel set and put it on registry. I know Crate& and Barrel has, like, a really good set. Again, you're never gonna have to replace these, like, I can't really think of unless it's, like, super bent or something, like, I can't think of another reason why you'd have to replace stainless steels. Anyway, I recommend for cooking utensils to have, like, a good wood set and a good stainless steel set. Then I I do think for baking, it is nice to have, like, a small set of silicone spatulas just, to like, really scrape the edges. So you can get mostly stainless steel, but then, like, have, like, 4, like, really nice quality silicone, like, spatulas.
Yeah, that's a good note. I need to upgrade mine because I'm still using the ones I have, and like you said, there's chunks missing. But another thing that I really use a lot is, like, glass food storage. I have mason jars and lids for those that I use all the time, and they're super affordable too. So I will store food, chopped vegetables, a lot of stuff in there. And then I also have the glass Pyrex mixing bowls, which are nice to be able to bake, mix anything in them. I use those all the time and they're super high quality. And like you said, they'll probably last forever unless you like drop and break it. And then glass measuring cups or like stainless steel ones too, I feel like would also work. But yeah, probably not like plastic ones. So you're not, just try to avoid plastic in anything in your kitchen. And then also glass Tupperware. I feel like this is a big one people are talking about more these days, like investing in a good set of glass Tupperware because you don't want your food stored in plastic either because then plastic will get leached into your food as well. And making sure they're like dishwasher safe and freezer safe so you can pop them in the freezer and the dishwasher. But yeah, I feel like anything glass for storage is like the way to go for that. Or I guess I don't really have any stainless steel storage options, but those I use all the time in my kitchen. Also having reusable bags to use for like freezer storage and food storage as well instead of the plastic ones. So that way you can avoid plastic getting into your food that way too. This is something I need to upgrade on. I want to get like the big gallon storage bags that are like silicone so that I think they're silicone, that I
Mhm.
can store things in the freezer that way.
When it comes to Tupperware, I know there's, like, lots of sets you can buy that have, like, different sizes and everything, like, there's so many options out there, which is kinda overwhelming. But I will say what I've enjoyed doing with leftovers, instead of just keeping like pasta, say like I make a pasta bake in like a casserole dish, instead of just like leaving it in the casserole dish in the fridge where I have to like pull it out and like divvy it up each time I want to eat it, right away after the meal, I'll just put it like we have just one set of like 8 of the same size, like they're really good lunch size, and I'll just like divvy it up right after the meal. That way it's already set for lunches, already set for leftovers, and like I don't know why I didn't do that like forever ago. Like I don't need like all the different sizes. I just need like the one lunch container and that's been, like, good for most of my leftovers and dishes and anything I wanna take for lunch. Okay, so let's get into kinda everyday dishes that don't wear out. So, I don't know if you've heard of the brand Corelle. I don't even know if, Liz, you've heard of the brand, but we have the brand Corelle plates, and Corelle, they're not, like, a super, like, fancy plate by any means, like, they're not a, like, typical set, like, heavy duty plates that you'd see on someone's registry or anything near China, but I would say Corelle, especially with having kids, now that I've, like, thought ahead having kids, I don't know that I was thinking this far in advance when I made my registry, but thank goodness my mom was like, "You need Corelle." I put Corelle dishes on my registry, and they're just very lightweight and very durable, like, they've lasted through a move, like, I bet you they're gonna last through most of our moves. They're gonna be durable throughout the kid era. Like, I already give Weston, like, a Corelle plate in front of him, and I'm not worried about it getting broken even if he, like, being careless with it. So I love Corelle dishware. We asked you guys on Instagram if you had any recommendations, and Maddie recommended Corelle dishware, and I totally agree with that sentiment, so totally recommend the brand Corelle. But for, like, bowls too, I think it's nice to have, like, little bowls for, like, whether it's snacks or ice cream. Pyrex makes some really good little bowls. A really good set of stainless steel silverware that's gonna last you is a great thing to have. And then like I mentioned a few minutes ago, casserole dishes, I don't think it matters, like, if you get glass casserole dishes, like, make them the ones that you want, whatever's cute to you, like, just having some good casserole dishes with lids is nice to have.
And I know I talked about how I have too many small kitchen appliances, but there are a few that I really do use all the time and would recommend, and then some that I don't use so much. One thing is the KitchenAid mixer. I feel like that'll last forever, and you'll use it for so many things. Like I used it to make pasta like a couple days ago because you can get like the pasta attachment. So it's another thing I have, and so you can make pasta on it. Also, I just bought this, but if you're into like bread making, I feel like investing in a flour mill like could be super fun, which is not a need to have item, but it's if you're into it. I know grinding the wheat berries is like better nutritionally instead of buying like the store bought shelf stable flour. It has like more nutrients and because it hasn't been stripped of it all to be shelf stable. And I know the Wonder Mill's like the name brand one. I have like a $90 one from Amazon that works fine, but I know a lot of people have like the Wonder Mill and I've heard great things about that one. So that's kind of like another kitchen appliance you could have, but it is like for health reasons. And I know, Erin, you have the ice cream attachment for the KitchenAid mixer
Yes,
as
love
well.
it.
I don't have that. I have the Ninja Creamy, which I also love, which is just like another appliance though. Like
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that way you can have it all in one. But I do like
Yeah.
the Ninja Creamy because you can make like single pints. So if it's like you're not making a ton of ice cream, it's kinda nice to just, like, be able to spin a pie and put it in the freezer and then mix it up. So I do like the Ninja Creamy a lot too, even though it is, like, another appliance and definitely not something you need.
I've enjoyed leaning into KitchenAid attachments recently just because of the space saving aspect. Like, I'll use my ice cream maker, and then I have, like, stainless steel pint-sized containers I'll just put it in to put in the freezer, and we just go through a lot of ice cream, so it's nice to have a lot. And then I also have, like, a juicer attachment, so you don't have to buy a whole juicer. I have a shredder attachment, so, like, shredding cheese because it's better for you. I don't know if you knew this, but it's better for you to buy, like, full cheese than shredded cheese because shredded cheese, like, has an additive to make it not, like, clump together,
Yeah.
all these things, so it's nice to have the KitchenAid attachments to help me out with those tasks that seem kinda cumbersome, but another thing I use appliance-wise on the daily pretty much is our blender. I have a Vitamix. I'd probably look into if I were to buy it again, like a glass one just because of the toxic aspect, but since you're not unless you're making soup in your blender and not
Yeah.
and, like, using the heating feature, it's not as big a deal because 'cause you're not heating it up and it's not in there for very long, so, like, the plastic isn't that big a deal, but you could look into a glass one. They have a stainless steel KitchenAid one, I know, but I use my blender pretty much on the daily, especially for Weston, like, for kids, I make smoothies all the time. And then another thing I got that I use a lot is I have a Ninja Foodi, which is like an Instapot, a slow cooker, an air fryer. You can sear things in there. It's like that all in one. And I recently learned that you can buy a stainless steel insert for that. So even though the one that it comes in is that nonstick forever chemical one, you can buy a stainless steel insert, which makes that efficiency of having that one appliance that does everything a little more clean. And then another thing I use on, like, the flour mill level is my bread machine because 'cause I'd like to make our bread from home, but I don't have time to, like, do all the stretch and folds that are required for sourdough and, like, all that. So I have a bread machine that does it all for me, and it cooks it into a nice loaf, which is great. So I love my bread machine.
Yeah, I've thought about getting one. I don't really do sourdough as much. I more so use Activia since it's, like, a little bit quicker. You don't have to do all the stretch and folds. I just use my KitchenAid to, like, knead it and let it rise, so it's a little bit easier that way. And I know if I did see if you want, like, a separate air fryer, Cosori just came out with, like, a stainless steel one too, so I think or there's, like, glass ones too out there too. So if you do want an air fryer, looking into that because I think mine's probably nonstick, but I still use it. 'Cause that's like a little bit more of an investment, but I think I can also use I have the Kasori, like, pot that does a ton of things too. I think I can air fry in there, and I got the stainless steel attachment for that as well. And then I'm not super big into the world of coffee, but my husband is, so I'm trying to get into it. But I feel like most coffee pots, though hot water goes through plastic typically, and I know there's one that's, like, all glass and maybe I don't I know, like, it doesn't touch plastic at all, the hot water, and it's like $400. I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna buy that right now." But I got the Ninja coffee pot, and it says it's stainless steel. It is stainless steel, and the pot is glass, but I feel like hot water still goes through plastic, so I'm like, I don't really know. I
Yeah,
don't
that one
know.
says I think it that I guess I was reading more in depth on that one, and I think it just like, the water sits in plastic, but it doesn't run through it, is what it claims, at least, but
Yeah. But I feel like the plastic still gets hot, like hot water maybe it doesn't, I don't know, I've used it, but it still seems like hot water is going through
yeah.
plastic, but maybe not. It said it was one of more cleaner, affordable options, I don't know. At least it's not, like, going into a plastic thing, but I feel like it's something you're drinking every day, trying to be aware of that, but it's hard to find a coffee pot that doesn't use plastic unless you wanna
Yes.
spend $400.
The nice thing about a registry is that you can most registries make group gifts, so if you do wanna put something on there that is outrageous, one, if you have, like, people in your life who we'll get into this more, but if you have people in your life who want to bless you, like, financially and, like, buy an expensive gift, like, that's an option for them, but also you can put the group gift option in so people can, like, contribute, like, $50 to your $400 coffee maker, like, it's not asking someone to buy you that $400 coffee maker, but they can contribute, and again, it's something you'll have long term, and if you're a big coffee person drinking it every day, then you don't want those microplastics leaching into your coffee, so anyway, all these tools, they support cooking at home, which reduces preservatives, reduces seed oils, reduces the ultra processed foods. It saves you money and it kind of strengthens your family rhythm. So having these items that kind of are literally tools to help you care for your family well are great.
Also, I forgot to add, if you like tea or anything, probably getting like a
Water
glass
kettle,
yeah, a
yeah.
glass electric kettle. I have the Kasori one and it's nice, but something like that too.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into some more home essentials. So, let's talk about like sleep and fabric choice a little bit. So, one, you're gonna, if you don't already have like a quality mattress, this is something that we talked about on a non toxic episode, but we'll invest in eventually. They're just so expensive, like having like a nice, like not chemical mattress. So, if you want to put that on your registry, that's something you could do. And then having like cotton sheets and comforters, like those you can find anywhere and not at a bad price, and then cotton towels as well. Just the natural fibers breathe better, they reduce that synthetic chemical exposure, and they just last a lot longer too, so those are some things, and then 2 cleaning tools that can help, like, support you in making sure your home is clean. I have the Tineco wet dry vacuum, which I've really enjoyed, and then I also have a Dyson because the handheld feature on the Dyson is great. I don't know if you have any, like, tools that you have for cleaning.
Those are the 2 that I have, and then I also have, like we talked about, the little green machine, which is really good
Mm,
for, like, cleaning up small messes.
yeah.
Like, if I spill something on my couch and I don't just, like, I don't wanna or it's on a part where I can't wash, like, the covers, I feel like that has come into handy. I feel like with kids too, with accidents, it could be really helpful, like, if I spill something on the rug or their car seats, you can use it on there, strollers if they
Mm,
have a spill. So I feel like I've liked the little green machine, and another thing that you definitely don't need that I want. There's like it's like a steam cleaner and
yeah.
it heats up. I have like a mini handheld one, but there's like a more expensive one that comes with like things you can use to like mop the floor with hot steam. So basically it cleans your house by making water really hot. And so instead of using like
Close.
a toxic
Bleach.
like something like that, it can do it itself with just like heating up a lot. So that's something too if you're like into cleaning I feel like that would be super helpful as well, just being able to have a kit where you can clean everything and not have to use a bunch of sprays.
I've seen those and they look like they work wonders, so
Mhm.
and then a few other, like, random life organization tools that you could put on your registry are, like, a printer, a shredder. We have a fireproof document safe that we had on our registry, and then I also use my label maker all the time, so if you don't have a label maker, you could throw that on there. I think less paper clutter leads you to, like, have less mental clutter. Those are a few random things, and then some simple living extras that I threw in here. Overall, I really would not recommend putting decor on your registry. One, because, I mean, I feel like having kids, I've learned that, like, less decor is better, and it's more advantageous to just slowly add things that are intentional pieces. No shame on Hobby Lobby at all, but when I first moved into our home right out of the academy, I got, like, a ton of Hobby Lobby decor and had it everywhere, and it was so cute, like, don't get me wrong, but then when we left our first house, I ended up, like, selling it all on Facebook Marketplace because I realized with kids that, like, I only wanna have pieces that are actually meaningful to me, and that's why I'm super glad that, like, thrifting is in because I feel like it's more fun too to just, like, slowly acquire the decor pieces that you have in your home, and we don't have anything on our coffee table anymore, nothing's on our shelves, like, there's only a few things, like, that are accessible anyway, and so I just wish that I would've, like, from a clean slate, just slowly added pieces, even, like, Christmas decor. I think there's something too, like, when you first get married, starting small and just, like, building your collection over time and not feeling like you need to, like, have the whole house, like, every single corner decorated right away, because that's what you see on Instagram. That's, like, what influencers are paid to do. They're paid to, like, go and, like, show you how to decorate their home. Like, just remember that, like, you don't have to have every single space filled right away. But all that to say, one thing that I do like having around our home because it has a purpose and it's cute. It's just a lot of baskets. You don't have to put these on your registry, but there's something that you could, like, if you wanted a nice set of matching ones put on there. Just baskets. I have them in my cupboards in my kitchen. I have them, like, for storing toys in our living room. Like, I have them pretty much everywhere. So baskets are really nice. Like, they're cute, but they're also, like, functional because 'cause I'll hide, like, the clutter a little bit. And then I don't a few other things that we didn't mention up above in, like, the kitchen section, you'll need baking sheets, so just get some nice, like, not nonstick baking sheets. I've enjoyed having, like, silicone muffin tins, and I've used these less for muffins and more so for freezing things, like freeze bone broth in these muffin tins, or when my babies started eating food, like, I would make, like, little portions in the silicone muffin tins. And then I also have, talking about baking sheets, the sheet pan liners, like the reusable liners so you don't have to use parchment every time you're gonna bake, and then other random little utensils. I have, like, a pizza cutter, peeler, like, ice cream scooper. We talked about measuring cups. You'll need a strainer. I like having a wider hold strainer, if that makes sense. Like, I have, like, a really, like, thin mesh strainer that you can use for, like, sifting and stuff, which is great, but I also wish I had one that had, like, bigger holes for washing berries and stuff. It's just easier to clean that way. I'm just trying to think of other random things, like can opener, chip clips, cutting boards, wood cutting boards, or I've seen, like, some fancy, like, stainless steel cutting boards out there, so definitely not putting plastic on your for your cutting boards because, again, as you cut, they're just leaching those plastics into your food. Anyway,
Glass ones too.
overall
I think there's glass cutting boards you can get too, which I'd be
yeah,
scared to break, but I know people use those.
yeah, yep. If you're scared to, yeah, clean the wood, definitely getting some sort of non-toxic cutting board is a great idea because, again, you're using those pretty much every day. Just remembering our philosophy here is functional is more than decorative clutter, like, go for functional. Did you wanna mention tools? Like, did you have thoughts on Nolan didn't add any tools on our registry, forgot, or he regretted it.
I know we did. I think, yeah, one other thing we added on our registry was a toolkit. I don't remember what it was, but we did add like a basic toolkit on there for Matt. I had him like add some things he would like, and that was one of them.
Yeah, Nolan didn't add, like, any tools on our registry, and he regretted it. He had, like, a we put on there because you can add, like, cash funds. He put a fund that was garage fund, but you better believe, like, all that money just went to, like, toilet paper or something like that. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
he ever actually, like I don't think we ever separated that money, so he wished that he would put some, like, tools that he wanted for starting in the house right away. Okay. And then, like I mentioned, we asked you on Instagram, like, what you had to say about your registry thoughts, and Maddie had mentioned those Corelle dishes. My friend Nina had said that, like, a nice set of silverware is great, and what she also mentioned is that she had here, let me, like, actually find her comment. And then my friend Nina, she said that one of her husband's family members bought her silverware, and they had told her that her husband and her were still using the silverware that they had from their wedding, like, and they'd been married over 50 years. And that just brought up a good point to me. Like, a lot of things on your registry are fun because when other people get them for you, when you use that item, you think about that person, which I just think is a special thing. Like, my KitchenAid mixer came from a really good family friend, and I think about them every time I use it. So just that part of a registry is really special. And then I thought that this was genius. Our friend Leo, she recommended putting a Christmas tree on your registry. I never thought of that. Like, especially if I didn't have a wedding around Christmas time, I would never think of that. But Christmas trees are expensive. Like, putting that on a registry as a group gift, like, genius, because everyone's going to need a Christmas tree unless you're doing, like, real trees. But I thought that was a really genius idea.
No, yeah, I wish I would have done that. I think I had a Christmas tree before I got married, but like some stuff since I got married a year after graduation, I already had gotten myself. So
Yeah, so these are kind of all our registry recommendations. And I just wanted to talk about why, like, a simpler registry blesses your guests. One, it kind of leads to less decision fatigue. Like, if you just lay out the things that you need and really want instead of just putting extra gifts on there, then it, like, helps them to make a decision and doesn't waste their time or their money. It also shows them that you have a clear purpose behind each item. There's no, like, meaningless filler gifts. And then they also are going to feel like they contributed something valuable to your registry and that it's going to be quality over quantity. Like, one $120 heirloom pan is going to be better than, like, five cheap pans replaced over time. So you'll have that forever and you'll be able to think about them when you use it forever. And then I think another thing to building a registry is just thinking about offering different price ranges because you'll know that, like, different guests are at a different point in their lives as far as what they can contribute. And so having, like, utensils that are on there that are under $25 and having, like, the $25 to $75 range, and then maybe up to the $200 range, and then even some 200 plus group gifts. Like, having different ranges is helpful for people. This lets, like, your college friends participate, also extended family, like, if they want to bless you generously they can. And then it also just allows everyone to give comfortably, if that makes sense.
yeah, and I think when you're building your wedding registry, it's important to think of marriage in your home as stewardship because He entrusts us with the home and resources and hospitality and the ability to nourish a family. So thinking about that when you are building your registry. Also think about like future kids when you're building your registry and like what you want to be cooking with and all that stuff. And I think, like we talked about, when you choose quality tools, you reduce waste and you're respecting finances because you're not rebuying things over and over. You're building a peaceful environment, like home environment. And when you know these things are going to last for a long time, and also you're supporting gathering people around. I think it's important to think about the people that you are going to be hosting and getting like hosting things for when people come over, making sure you like have enough plates and like big enough things to hold all the food. I feel like that is fun to think about on a wedding registry too.
Yeah, I just think that a thoughtfully built home says that we value what God has given us, and it shifts our mindset from accumulation to cultivation. And as we've gotten and grown into marriage and motherhood, we've just realized that building a home is less about filling it with things and more about filling it with intention. The tools that we use every day shape our rhythms, our health, and our hospitality, and they even affect our stress levels. So if you're building a registry right now, our encouragement is very simple. Choose items that will serve your family well. Choose materials that are safe and built to last. Choose quality over clutter. And remember that creating a home is an act of stewardship and love. Liz, before we go, do you have like off the top of your head, what are the 3 things? If you were to pick 3 things for someone to put on a registry, what would they be?
Probably a KitchenAid
Mhm,
mixer. I feel like that is super helpful. Probably like pans because
mhm.
I feel like you use those all the time. Like a pot and pan set, whether stainless steel, cast iron pans like you have. Let me think. What else I use all the time? It depends on like you personally too. Like on things like if you really love coffee, like investing in a good coffee maker, or if you're into bread, like I said, having like a bread maker and a flour mill could be good. So I think it kind of depends on your own personal interests too. But obviously, pots and pans you use all the time. Glasses, I don't know if we talked about like
Yeah,
drinking glasses. I feel like I use those every day. So just getting some drinking glasses, I
yeah.
feel like
I'm a
are
big
good.
fan of the beer can glasses.
hmm
Love
I have those. You
those.
can get them on Amazon too because glass is glass, I feel like. So
Yeah, I would say
getting
my top
those.
3 would be a blender, because
Mm,
again, I just things I use all the time. And you said
yeah.
KitchenAid already, so I don't have to choose that, but blender, my Tineco, and I would say cast iron pan. Those are like my top 3. But anyway, whether you're building your registry or already married, we hope that this episode helped you just to slowly build or replace what doesn't serve your home well. Thank you for walking through this relationship series with us. We've enjoyed it, and we hope it's helped you just build a stronger foundation for marriage, family, and your mission overall. And with that, this has been Erin and Liz helping you mind your mission.